Howdy, how's it going? Welcome back, or howdy if you're new. Today we're going to talk about some ROG Ally X mods, and we're going to show you some cool things that you can do to your ROG Ally X that aren't actually too hard to do. And if you haven't seen the video for the OG Ally, you should go check that out. I did that yesterday, and this is a magnetic D-pad swap right here, and this will allow you to use the circle or the square, and it feels really good, and it is a game changer. I will be doing it for the Ally X next, but today we're going to cover an easy mod that you should be able to do at home and not have to, fret and sweat too much. And if you like mods like this, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment, all that good stuff. It's very much appreciated. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the channel OGs. You guys are the GOAT. The channel members help support stuff like this and make videos like this happen. So if you want to support the channel directly and to be able to help fund more mods, please consider doing so. But it is not required. All right, guys. Well, look. I'm going to show you how to open this thing up real quick, and then we'll show you how to do the mod, and I won't waste too much of your time. So the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the screws. If you do not know how to remove the screws, I cannot help you because that is a skill issue. Nah, jokes aside, you should know how to remove the screws. Once you remove the screws, you'll want to get into the side of this part with a pry tool, and you'll want to start in one corner and kind of work your way around it. I'm not going to lie, this is a very, very tedious part, opening up each one of these little clips right there. Once you get the hang of it, it gets a lot easier as you go. You want to make sure you do not open this up all the way, and I'll show you why in a second if you don't already know. If you know, you know, but you'll just kind of, there you go, get in there like that, come up here at the top, work your fingernail or guitar pick in there, and then you will slowly pop that down there just like that. There's going to be a little plastic clip right here. You'll want to flip that up and then wiggle your cable out. There's that little plastic clip, flips up and down like so. So we'll set this out of the way. Now to take out these joysticks, it's pretty simple. Since we've already done this side off camera, I'm going to show you how to do this side right here. If this little plastic thing right there is in the way, it's just a little piece of tape. So you want to take these screws out. You got 3 screws, and then you have another little plastic clip, and you move that ribbon cable out of the way. And we're using, of course, the xCool screwdriver. Now that you've got your screws out, you'll slowly wiggle that out. Set your screws right there. And this cap just simply comes off like that. Now, there is a potential for a future mod that I'm going to be covering, and it's replacing the tops of these. There's a little screw inside of here, and we should be able to get like an extension on them, and we might be able to make some longer sticks or little print different caps for these. I think Kira's working on those, so we'll check with her soon, and when they are ready, you'll see them here first. Now this is gonna maybe be a little tricky for some, but for some it's probably not too bad. Fitting this on here, it's a little tight. You want to just slowly work it in here, but it does take a little bit of force to kind of press that in there good enough. And what you also want to make sure you do is test fit it first before you put everything back together. Make sure you're not getting any rubbing, because you might need to press it down just a little bit more. The tolerances, depending on the kit that you buy, are going to be different. So just know that some will be, better fitting than others. These are kind of tight. Also note that when you do have it outside of the unit, it will stick like that. Don't worry, you didn't break it. That's kind of how it's supposed to be from the factory. When there's pressure put on it, when it's on the inside, it rolls freely. So you shouldn't have any issues there, although it did kind of alarm me at first. And if you haven't seen the NVMe mod video, I am running a 4TB Samsung 990 Pro. You can run up to a 5mm heatsink or any pre-heat synced drive, period. There's no caveats. All NVMe heatsinks should work just fine. And you do have room for the battery cable to kind of fit in there like that. Even if the battery cable goes over top of this heatsink, as long as it's not over 5 millimeters, you can actually still close it just fine. This particular one is a EK water block heatsink. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's just what I had laying around. I've also used a couple other cheap Amazon ones and they worked quite well. I wouldn't recommend going anything under like a 3 millimeter heatsink just because these drives do get kind of spicy. So anyways, let's go ahead and put this bad boy back in and we'll turn it on and show you how it's going to look. So now we're going to put this back in here like so. Oh, and when you are pushing this through on this one, because it's like the rubbery kind, it's a little bit wider than normal. So you kind of have to push it and wiggle it and it'll slowly work its way through. I ended up having to come in there like so, and just kind of wiggling it with my hands to get it to fit. And now it fits in there just fine. It takes a second to squeeze it through the hole. I haven't tried any of the hard ones yet, no pun intended. I've only used these ones that have the rubbery outside. I will leave a link below if you want to buy the exact same ones that I have, just so you know that they fit. If you want to experiment with other ones, by all means, try it. They are cheap enough and widely available on Amazon in every shape and size and color, and you get clear and gold and white and you name it. You can literally get any color. And no, unfortunately, this particular mod will not work on the OG Ally. I repeat, it will not work on the OG Ally. And yes, I did try, but the problem is the domes are way too big and they just simply will not clearance and they will not work. I even tried grinding down a set, just didn't work. There's not enough room in there for it to rotate. So you need to make sure that you're not trying to do this on an OG Ally. It's just, I'm sorry. And now we're gonna take our back plate and we're gonna put it back on. Remember the little clip. Make sure you have it flipped up normally. Go. Take that, put that back there. I'm not even sure where all that went or what it was covering, but it'll be all right. So now we'll put this back together here and come up here, click it all in place. You don't have to worry about the screws unless you really want to. I don't run screws on mine just because I take it apart so often, but these back plates are really solid. Now once you have removed the back plate, what you're going to want to do is plug it into the charger before you power it on, and then give it a little power, and it should come right on in a second. There you go. And then you can unplug it. And now you can see both our purple joysticks. They're clear and they look freaking awesome. Doesn't that look so cool, unique? I mean, that is such an awesome look. And they rotate just fine. They feel like factory, but they're clear. So, I mean, that's pretty fire. Now I can't wait to do the D-pad swap. Can you imagine how that's going to look? That's going to look absolutely fire. And hopefully we can get some purple buttons up here and then maybe some purple buttons here. But I think these are probably going to be a little bit more of a pain to change. We'll just have to see. Maybe eventually the volume buttons, maybe some clear purple triggers. I mean, this would be cool to completely deck out in, you know, just purple and black. I think that looks pretty fire if you ask me. Let's just make sure our joysticks and everything still work. I like to go to the gamepad tester on hardwaretester.com/gamepad, and then we'll check. Yep, everything still works just fine. There you go. Now the error rate on these, by the way, I haven't recalibrated them. For sure there's gonna be a little bit of an error rate since we've moved it around, but that one's 3.5. I need to recalibrate this right one right here, but about 6%'s probably on par with what most of the other ones are. without being calibrated. 3.5, that one's pretty good. I don't think I need to mess with that one. But this right side, I'll have to double check and recalibrate. But anyways, guys, this was an easy mod. Well, it was easy to me anyways, just because I got done doing this D-pad swap, and that is such a pain. But I hope you like this, and if you'd like to see more mods, definitely subscribe if you haven't already. And until the next one, guys, I hope you have a good afternoon, good evening, or good night.